Tennessee picks up a commitment over the weekend. Maybe not the highest rated guy in the world, but I'll tell you what, there are a lot of times I'll take a high 3-star offensive lineman, especially now that you can run guys, as opposed to another guy that might have a little bit of a issue or diva type thing. So I'm a big fan of these high 3-star guys to fill out your roster, and sometimes they can eventually turn into fantastic players. So over the weekend, Tennessee already has a couple of commitments, but the Vols now have another commitment from a 3-star offensive lineman. He's not fantastic. He's not great, but let's take a look at him as Tennessee picks up a commitment from, and I think I've looked there.
Baylor School.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. So tell me about Tennessee's newest commitment over the weekend.
Yeah, so Gabriel Osenda out of Baylor School in Chattanooga, which, funny enough, is where Amari Jefferson came out of. So within a week, Tennessee picked up 2 Baylor School kids from Chattanooga. He committed to the Vols over the weekend. He's a 3-star across most services, but he is a 4-star on Rivals. And Dave, I think he's kind of a rising star because, look, Tennessee beat out quite a few schools to land him, most notably Florida and Ole Miss. And Florida, if you've seen them on the recruiting trail, they're recruiting at a high level right now. But also Georgia gave him an offer reportedly. I think LSU gave him an offer. So he was fielding quite a few elite offers, and he's got a great size at 6'7", 330. So this guy could be an underrated offensive lineman that Tennessee's just scouting quickly. He comes from Canada originally. So my guess, when I see the size and I see the ratings versus who's offering him is, and I've seen this before, he's a 3-star because he's raw, but could be a 4 or 5-star if he develops. And I think that's a really good type of commitment that Tennessee wants to be able to land. It was one they needed. They want to reestablish the pipeline into Chattanooga because honestly, they're not doing great there right now. I mean, yes, they got Amari Jefferson back, which is a big deal, but the prize out of Baylor School on Saturday was Cam Sparks, who was a 4-star athlete, 2-way athlete, and he committed to Virginia Tech. But again, that could be like his top offers were Arkansas, Auburn, Chattanooga was in there. So weren't as high as offers as Gabriel Osenda. So I don't know how you look at it, Dave. I actually look more at who's offering than I do what the star rating is. I don't know if you go the same route I do on that.
Well, I do. And so do the recruiting analysts. I mean, I think it would take a pretty egotistical recruiting analyst for one of the recruiting services to say they know more than the average college football coach, right?
That's what they're doing with. So Cam Sparks was a 4-star on 247 composite, and Gabriel Osenda was a 3-star, even though Osenda was fielding way better offers.
Well, and they're just behind. I mean, those numbers just have to change and register. I usually give them 2 or 3 months before they move. But just my premise of I love the high 3-star offensive lineman. What do you make of that?
Oh, I do too. As a matter of fact, offensive linemen, I care less about recruiting rankings for offensive linemen. Now, there's exceptions. Darnell Wright, David Sanders Jr. probably. But for the most part, I care about their measurables, their quickness, and also just how fundamentally sound they are. And I know that sounds like cheesy. Oh, the fundamentals matter. But honestly, offensive line, a lot of it, offensive line is way more about understanding leverage than anything else, isn't it?
Yep, it is. That's why Scott Wells was one of the best offensive linemen I've ever seen, and he wasn't nearly as physically gifted as the Cozy Colemans of the world. Yes.
That's also why Iowa and Wisconsin lead the way with NFL offensive linemen, and none of them are 5-stars coming out, but they all wrestled in high school. So they all know exactly how to use leverage when they get to the pros.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at Tennessee's classes. Gabriel Osenda is the latest addition to the 2026 class, which is coming together quite nicely. An update brought to you by Double D Piping Supply.
Double D Piping provides full-service fire protection on any scale. From residential homes to government facilities, we can assist any customer through design, fabrication, installation, inspection, and demonstration of fire suppression systems. With 30 years of service across 5 states and a full staff with over 40 years experience, our quality can't be beaten. Don't get caught watching what you could have prevented. Call Double D Piping.
All right. I think personally that Tennessee's 2026 class has the potential, not just in who they have committed, but others that I'm hearing that are close to committing, to be Tennessee's first elite class. So I define elite class by top 5. So right now they have 5-star quarterback Faison Brandon. He is committed. Tyreek King out of, by the way, Brandon's from Greensboro, North Carolina. Tyreek King from Catholic is a 3-star wide receiver. Brandon Anderson, an offensive lineman, 3-star receiver from Kennesaw, Georgia. Carson Sneed from Nashville, Tennessee, is a 3-star tight end. 3-star Gabriel Osenda's offensive tackle. Tyron Evans, who recently committed, wide receiver, 3-star from North Carolina. Tyson Bacon, 3-star from Hoover. Braylon Outlaw from Pike Road, Alabama, is a 3-star as well. I think it's 5th in the nation. I think you've got a good base, and I think that's what you want at this point, based off a lot of years of covering recruiting. And now's the time where you start to take your shot. You know what I mean? You've got yourself, let's say, 2nd and 1 at the 40-yard line. Okay, everything's going good. This is when you start to take shots at the big time guys, and you try to land them by this summer.
Oh, I totally agree. And it's they have 8. You're right. They have 8 commitments. They have 2 linemen now, by the way. Not to mention the 2 in the previous class with David Sanders. I think they're finally getting the linemen who they want that they can actually build their team around. We're finally going to start seeing Josh Heupel, I think probably in 2025, start some guys that he recruited out of high school. Right. It's about, and if it doesn't happen, then there's a big red flag. So obviously Faison Brandon's a star. So on composite rankings right now, this is the 5th highest rated class in the nation. And Dave, 2nd in the SEC. Texas A&M's number 1 and Tennessee's number 2. Now that's obvious. It's so early. I mean, it's not even National Signing Day for 2025 yet. So like, this is obviously going to change as time goes on, and Tennessee's going to have to keep rolling. But you are right. I think they are building the type of class they want to build. I think, and I've been saying this though for a while, and I want to know what you think about this. I think Tennessee, because we talked with Will West on Friday about NIL, and their NIL strategy maybe hurts them on the front end. But I think Tennessee has an NIL strategy on the back end that I guess keeps the players they want together more than other programs. And so I don't know what you think about that, but
well, that's good and bad, though. Yes, I've been told that Tennessee wants the play for pay model instead of the pay for play model. Does that make sense? They don't want to get caught in a situation where they owe Nico $2 million a year. They want to get in a situation where George McIntyre shows up on campus and makes a decent amount of money in NIL, but ultimately you give him raises and more money based off of what he does on the field. That's the goal. The problem is that could actually hurt the Vols, Caleb. I'm not sure that it helps the Vols.
On the front end, but not really the back end. What I think with their NIL model is this. Their NIL model is like you're shopping for a home. Their NIL model is they're going to take the home that maybe needs a lot of updates on the outside, but is on strong, solid foundation. You know what I mean? Great bones, and it's not going to collapse under its weight. Whereas I think a lot of other people may take the newer development that looks real flashy up front. Someone really fixed it up to sell it, but the foundation's messed up, and you don't know that till you get inside. Because I think Ole Miss is that home, by the way.
Fair enough. Yes.
And so I think that Tennessee is. I think their NIL model it's more focused on on the idea that players who are valuable to them won't ever want to leave. And honestly, to this point, I don't think Tennessee's under Josh Heupel has really lost a player that they didn't want to, that they cared deeply if they lost. Put it that way.
I don't think they were real happy about Squirrel.
I'm telling you, Squirrel was about Boo. I'm telling you right now, Squirrel was about Boo Carter.
I'm not buying that.